On my 18th birthday, my stepfather tossed me out like garbage. "You're nothing, go struggle like you deserve," he sneered. My mother just stood there, silent. I walked away with nothing. 5 years later, he floods my phone with 16 voicemails a day, crying, pleading. I won't lift a finger. Today was supposed to be a day of celebration, my 18th birthday, but the air in our home felt heavy with something unspoken, something dark. The decorations I hung with such hope now seem like a cruel jest, their colors too bright against the backdrop of my stepfather Tom's cold demeanor. As I stood there, candles flickering on my cake, the front door slammed open, and Tom's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "What's all this for?" he sneered, his eyes scanning the room with disdain. My heart sank, knowing this day would not end with the joy I had anticipated. But as I gathered the courage to respond, his next words left me reeling, questioning not just the day, but my entire existence. What did he mean by that? And what would happen next? My name is Emily Carter, and today marks a milestone in my life, my 18th birthday. The air in our modest suburban home feels thick with anticipation, or perhaps it's just the weight of the balloons I've hung up in the living room. The streamers twist and turn, casting playful shadows across the walls, a stark contrast to the somber atmosphere that seems to have settled over the house. I live here with my mother, Linda, and my stepfather, Tom. My real father, a ghost in my life, left when I was just a baby, leaving behind only stories and a void that Tom has tried to fill since I was 7. He's always been a stern figure, his presence more about discipline than warmth. But today, there's something different in his demeanor, an iciness that chills the room more than the late autumn breeze outside. Mom, usually the mediator, the one who softens Tom's edges, is away at a business conference. Her absence leaves me alone with him, and the silence in the house feels like a heavy, unspoken tension. I've tried to combat this with decorations, hoping to inject some joy into the day, to make it feel like a celebration despite the circumstances. As I light the candles on my birthday cake, the flame flickers, mirroring the uncertainty in my heart. The front door slams with a force that startles me, breaking the quiet. Tom walks in, his face not just stern, but now a mask of disdain. His eyes scan the room, taking in the balloons, the streamers, and finally, me. "What's all this for?" His voice cuts through the silence, sharp and cold. "You think you deserve a celebration?" The question hangs in the air, heavy with implications. I feel a knot forming in my stomach, the kind that tells you something isn't right, that today might not unfold as I had hoped. The candles on the cake burn lower, their light dimming as if in response to the darkness that seems to be seeping into the room. I stand there, the birthday girl, caught between the remnants of childhood and the threshold of adulthood, wondering if this day meant for joy will instead be marked by something far more unsettling. Tom's words cut through me like a knife. I stammer, "It's my birthday, Tom. I thought we could celebrate." He scoffs, his eyes narrowing. "Celebrate what? Your existence?" His tone is mocking, and I feel my heart sink. I try to muster a smile, hoping to salvage the moment, but his next words crush any hope. He tells me to clean up the mess I've made, that he's expecting company and doesn't want the house looking like a teenage disaster zone. I comply, feeling the weight of his disapproval. As I'm picking up the streamers, I overhear him on the phone, his voice low and urgent. He's talking about some deal, something about money and a deadline. His words are cryptic, laced with tension, and I can't help but feel a chill run down my spine. The room feels colder now, not just from the autumn breeze seeping through the windows, but from the atmosphere Tom has brought with him. I gather the decorations, each one feeling like a piece of my heart being torn away. The balloons, once symbols of joy, now seem like empty promises, deflating as I stuff them into a bag. As I'm about to leave the room, Tom turns to me with a smirk. "You know, Emily, you're just like your father. Useless." The word hits me like a physical blow, echoing in the emptiness of the house. My father, a man I've only known through stories, now used as a weapon against me. The comparison stings, not because I believe it, but because it's coming from him, the man who's supposed to be my family. I want to retort, to defend myself, but the words stick in my throat. Instead, I nod, a silent acknowledgement of his disdain, and retreat to the kitchen. There, the remnants of my birthday cake sit untouched, the candles now just stubs of wax. I look at the cake, its once vibrant icing now dull, mirroring my mood. The house feels oppressive, each corner filled with shadows of what could have been a happy day. I start cleaning up, but my mind races. What deal is Tom involved in? Why the urgency? And why does he treat me like this, especially today? Questions swirl in my head, but no answers come. I hear the front door open again, and voices fill the house. Tom's company has arrived. I stay in the kitchen, out of sight, but I can't help but listen. Their conversation is a mix of laughter and hushed tones, a stark contrast to the earlier tension. I feel like an outsider in my own home, a ghost watching life go on without me. The celebration I had envisioned, filled with warmth and laughter, has turned into a cold, silent affair. I'm alone with my thoughts, the cake, and the remnants of a day that was supposed to be special. But as I stand there, a resolve begins to form within me. This isn't just about a birthday anymore. The day drags on with Tom's cold shoulder and snide remarks. I retreat to my room, the celebration forgotten. My phone buzzes with birthday wishes from friends, but they feel hollow. Then, I hear a loud knock at the door. Tom answers, and I hear raised voices. Curiosity gets the better of me, and I peek downstairs. Two men in suits are there looking stern. They're discussing something with Tom, who seems increasingly agitated. One of them mentions a debt, a large sum of money. Tom's voice rises. I'll get it, just give me time. The men leave, but not before one of them glances up, catching my eye. Tom storms into my room, his face red with anger. He accuses me of listening, of being a burden, of being just like my father. You're worthless, he spits out, his laughter cruel. Get out, now! He throws my backpack at me, filled with my essentials, and pushes me towards the door. I stumble down the stairs, my heart pounding in my chest. The cold night air hits me as I step outside, the door slamming shut behind me with a finality that echoes through the quiet neighborhood. I stand there, the weight of Tom's words pressing down on me, the echo of, "Don't come back," ringing in my ears. The street is deserted, the houses dark, their windows like empty eyes watching my plight. I clutch my backpack, feeling the few belongings I have left. The reality of my situation sinks in. I have nowhere to go. My friends, scattered across the city, are not an option for tonight. Their parents would never understand, and I can't bear the thought of explaining my humiliation. I start walking, the chill seeping through my thin jacket. Each step feels heavier than the last, the streetlights casting long shadows that seem to mock my solitude. My mind races, replaying the scene with Tom, his harsh words, the men in suits. What kind of trouble has he gotten himself into? And why drag me into it? I find myself at the local park, the one place that always felt like a refuge. The swings are still, the playground deserted, a stark contrast to the vibrant memories of childhood laughter. I sit on a swing, the cold metal biting into my skin, and I let the tears come. They're hot against my cheeks, a stark contrast to the icy air. The night deepens, and with it my resolve hardens. I can't go back to Tom, not after tonight. But where can I go? The thought of my mother, away on business, brings a pang of longing. She would understand, but she's not here. I need to figure this out on my own. My phone buzzes again, this time with a message from my best friend Sarah. Happy birthday, Em. Hope you're having a blast. Call me when you can. I stare at the screen, the light from it illuminating the tears on my face. I can't call her. Not like this. Not yet. I stand up, wiping my face with the back of my hand. The park, once a place of joy, now feels like a crossroads, I can't stay here, but I also can't go back. I start walking again, this time with a purpose. I need to find shelter, somewhere safe for the night. As I walk, I think about my father, the man Tom so cruelly compared me to. Maybe there's more to his story than I've been told. Maybe there's a reason he left, a reason I've never understood. The thought gives me a strange comfort, a thread to pull on when everything else feels unraveled. I pass by the all-night diner, its neon sign flickering like a beacon. I hesitate, then push the door open. The warmth hits me, along with the smell of coffee and grease. I slide into a booth, my backpack beside me, feeling the eyes of the late-night patrons on me. I order a coffee, the cheapest thing on the menu, and sit there, nursing it, trying to think. The waitress, noticing my distress, gives me a sympathetic smile. "Rough night?" she asks, her eyes filled with sympathy. She asks. The streets are eerily quiet as I wander, the chill seeping into my bones. My phone, nearly dead, buzzes in my pocket. It's a message from Sarah, my best friend, asking how my birthday went. I manage to call her, my voice shaky. "Sarah, can I come over?" What's wrong?" Her voice is laced with concern, and without hesitation, she tells me to come over. I make my way to her place, the walk feeling endless, each step heavy with the weight of my thoughts. At Sarah's, I recount everything. The cold reception from Tom, the men in suits, the cruel words, and the harsh reality of being thrown out on my birthday. Sarah listens, her face a mix of shock and anger. "We need to confront Tom," she says, her voice firm. "We need to find out what's really going on." We spend the night devising a plan. Sarah, always the planner, suggests we sneak back into my house the next day when Tom is at work. Her brother Jake, who's good with locks, agrees to help. The next morning, with a mix of fear and determination, we execute our plan. Jake's fingers work deftly on the lock, and soon, we're inside. The house feels different, colder, as if it knows I shouldn't be here. We start our search, looking for anything that might explain Tom's behavior, his sudden anger, and the men from last night. In Tom's office, we find documents, bank statements, and letters. The evidence is damning. Tom has been embezzling money from his company. The men from last night were there to collect a debt, not just any debt, but one that could ruin him. My heart races as I piece together the puzzle. Tom's disdain, his urgency, it all makes sense now. He's not just a cruel man, he's a desperate one. Sarah whispers, "We should take these," pointing to the incriminating papers. I nod, stuffing them into my backpack, feeling the weight of the truth alongside my belongings. As we're about to leave, the front door opens. My heart stops. Tom is home early. Panic sets in. We look around frantically for a place to hide. Sarah pulls me into the closet under the stairs, the same one where I used to hide from Tom's temper. We close the door, barely breathing, as footsteps echo through the house. Tom's voice is loud, angry. He's on the phone, his words sharp and desperate. "I need more time, I'll get the money, just give me a few more days." His footsteps grow closer, and I can almost feel his presence through the thin wood of the closet door. Sarah grips my hand, her fear palpable. We hear him enter the office, the rustling of papers, a curse under his breath. He's looking for something we've taken. My heart pounds so loudly I fear he'll hear it. Then, silence. The kind that stretches, making every second feel like an eternity. I can hear him breathing, just outside our hiding spot. The door handle jiggles, and I close my eyes, praying he doesn't open it. But then, his phone rings again. He answers, his voice moving away from us. "I'm handling it. I'll call you back." His steps retreat, and the front door slams shut once more. We wait, the silence now a shield, until we're sure he's gone. Slowly, we emerge from our hiding place, the adrenaline still coursing through us. "We need to get out of here," Sarah whispers, her voice urgent. With the evidence in hand, we slip out of the house, the morning light feeling like a beacon of hope after the darkness we've just navigated. But as we walk away, The reality of what we've uncovered sinks in. Tom's life, and perhaps ours, are about to change irrevocably. Panic sets in as we hear Tom's footsteps. Jake quickly hides us in the closet, but not before I grab a crucial piece of evidence, a letter from the company's legal department, threatening legal action against Tom. We wait, hearts pounding, as Tom searches the house, muttering about missing documents. Finally, he leaves and we make our escape. Sarah insists we go to the police, but I'm hesitant, still processing the betrayal. However, the letter in my hand feels like a lifeline. At the police station, we present our findings. The officers are skeptical at first, but the evidence is compelling. They agree to investigate, and we're told to stay safe. As we leave, I feel a mix of relief and fear. Tom's life is about to unravel, but what does that mean for my mother? For me? The sentence is grammatically correct, but you could clarify turmoil inside to turmoil inside me. Sarah's hand finds mine, squeezing it in silent support. "It's going to be okay, Em," she says, her voice steady, but I can hear the undercurrent of worry. We walk in silence for a while, the weight of what we've done, what we've uncovered pressing down on us. The streets are busy now, people rushing past, oblivious to the storm brewing in our lives. Just as we're about to leave the station, my phone rings. It's my mother, her voice frantic. "Emily, where are you? Tom's been arrested." The words hit me like a wave, crashing over me with a mix of relief and dread. Relief because justice might finally be served, but dread because of the implications for our family, for my mother who's been away, unaware of the chaos unfolding at home. "Mom, we're at the police station. We found evidence that Tom was embezzling money." "He's in deep trouble," I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. There's a pause, a heavy silence that speaks volumes. "Oh, Emily," she finally breathes out, her voice breaking. "I had no idea. I'll be on the next flight home." Hanging up, I turn to Sarah, who's watching me with wide eyes. "She's coming back," I tell her, feeling the ground shift beneath my feet. We walk back to Sarah's house, the world around us seeming both too loud and eerily silent. My mind races with scenarios, with what-ifs and hows. How will my mother react when she sees the evidence? Will she believe us, or will she side with Tom out of some misguided loyalty? At Sarah's, we sit in her room, the evidence spread out before us like a map of our lives turned upside down. Jake joins us, his face serious. "You did the right thing," he says, looking from me to Sarah. "No matter what happens, you did what was right." The day stretches on, each minute feeling like an hour. I try to distract myself, but every sound, every car passing by makes me jump, expecting it to be my mother or worse, Tom somehow out of custody. The doorbell rings and my heart leaps into my throat. Sarah goes to answer it, and I hear my mother's voice, a mix of exhaustion and urgency. She steps into the room, her eyes immediately finding mine, filled with a storm of emotions. "Emily," she says, her voice cracking as she pulls me into a hug. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know." We sit, and I explain everything. The cold birthday, the men in suits, the evidence, and our escape from Tom's wrath. She listens, her face a mask of shock and then anger, not at me, but at the situation, at Tom. "He's always been good at hiding things," she murmurs, more to herself than to us. "But this is beyond anything I could have imagined." The room falls silent, the gravity of our situation settling in. My mother looks at the documents, her hands trembling slightly. "We need to talk to the police again," she decides, her voice firm now. "We need to make sure they understand everything." As we sit there, the weight of the situation pressing down, on us, my mother's face is a mix of confusion and relief. She explains that she knew nothing of Tom's dealings, that he had kept her in the dark about everything. The police confirmed that Tom had indeed been embezzling funds, using the company's money for personal gain, and his arrest was inevitable. In the aftermath, my mother and I move into a smaller apartment. It's a fresh start, away from the shadow of Tom's deceit. The walls are bare, but they hold the promise of new memories, ones not tainted by betrayal. I start community college, supported by scholarships and part-time work at a local cafe. The routine is comforting, a stark contrast to the chaos that had engulfed our lives. Sarah and Jake become my family, more than ever. They're there for the late-night study sessions, the quiet dinners, and the moments when the weight of what happened tries to pull me under. Sarah, with her unwavering support, and Jake, with his quiet strength, help me navigate this new chapter. The legal proceedings. Against Tom Dragon, each court date a reminder of the life we left behind. The lawyers assure us that he'll likely serve time, but the process is slow, and every update feels like another chapter in a book I wish to close. My mother, though heartbroken, finds a new kind of strength in our new life. She starts working. From home, her job now a source of stability rather than an escape. On my next birthday, we celebrate quietly, just the two of us. The apartment is small, but it's filled with warmth, something our old house lacked in its final days. My mother bakes a homemade cake, the icing a bit messy but full of love. We laugh genuinely for the first time in what feels like forever. As I blow out the candles, I make a wish not for material things, but for peace, for us to heal, and for a future where I can prove to myself that I am anything but worthless. The flame flickers out, and in its place, a resolve forms within me. I want to make something of myself, to show that I'm more than the labels Tom tried to stick on me. The night deepens, and as I look at my mother, her face lit by the soft glow of the candles, I see a reflection of my own determination. We've been through the storm, and now we're learning to sail in calmer waters. But as I close my eyes, a thought lingers. A question about my father, the man whose absence has been a silent narrative in my life. What if there's more to his story? What if there's a part of me that's yet to be discovered? The room grows quiet, the only sound the soft hum of the refrigerator. My mother's hand finds mine, squeezing gently. This sentence is complete, but you could add more context. "We'll get through this, Emily," she whispers, her voice a balm to my troubled thoughts as she holds me close. She whispers, her voice a balm to my troubled thoughts. I nod, feeling the weight of the past year, but also the lightness of hope. We've survived, and now we're not just surviving. We're starting to live again. But as I drift off to sleep that night, the question about my father, about my own identity, remains unanswered, a cliffhanger in the story of my life, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.